Today, we bring the story of a mother and daughter duo out to get an innocent man. Dear subscribers, we have crossed 1,700 subscribers and are racing towards our first 2,000 subscribers. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon for notifications for our latest story. Share a like if you like this story. Let's get on with the story. Life in the suburbs of New York had always been a peaceful affair for me, Ted, a 26-year-old with a house of my own. The quiet neighborhood, the well-kept lawns, it was my slice of tranquility. I work at a local IT firm, and I am an expert with ethical hacking. My job is to make the network secure and ensure that the network is not breached and everything is secured. The time to get involved with the dating game. Little did I know the arrival of new neighbors would soon shake up my serene existence. A moving truck pulled into the house next door and curiosity got the better of me. I wandered over to offer a hand, and that's when I met Mrs. Anderson and her daughter, Lily. Mrs. Anderson, a lively 52-year-old, seemed full of energy, and Lily at 24 was charming and outgoing. Little did I know that these seemingly ordinary introductions would lead to something more. As days turned into weeks, Lily and I found ourselves spending more time together. We shared interests left on the porch till the late hours. And before I knew it, we were dating. However, as love blossomed between Lily and me, Mrs. Anderson started to take a peculiar interest in my life. Initially, it was just friendly advice on home decor and gardening. But soon, it evolved into uninvited intervention into my personal space. She wanted me to set up her new laptop and to use internet, and Lily asked if her mother could use the Wi-Fi. I set up her laptop. And since I have a habit of setting up shared network at my office, I set up her laptop on my network. I had access to her entire laptop. Not that I needed that, but it was just out of sheer habit. I connected her laptop with my connection. And I thought, how much could that impact me? Well, sharing did not stop there. One day I came home to find her sitting in her lawn with some friends, and they were using my lawn furniture. I was angry. I went to Lily and told her that it is not nice to borrow things without permission. Lily tried to calm me down and told that she would take care of such things in the future. A few days later, I got my internet bill. I was shocked and checked the usage details. Mrs. Anderson was using internet all day and the downloads were off the charts. I spoke to Lily and asked her about the usage and how she intends to pay. She said that she will speak to her mother. They eventually paid me $10 against the bill of over $100. Lily eventually asked me if she can move in with me. I was not very keen on it and asked her to take things a bit slow, as I am used to a single life, and I need time to adjust before she moves in. Lily said that she will move in over a period of a month, so we agreed on a transition plan. I gave Lily the other set of keys to the house. However, 2 days later, I came home to find Mrs. Anderson rearranging my living room furniture. I thought this layout would suit you better, dear, she said with a smile. Politely, I thanked her, but a sense of invasion lingered. I was annoyed now. I spoke to Lily and told her that I do not appreciate her invading my home. She tried to defend her mother, saying that she treats you like a son and wants you to be happy and all that. I was not having none of it. I told Lily that it will be great if the plan to move in with me is put on hold, as I am not comfortable with her mother getting involved in things. She got angry and went back to her home. A few days later, it rained heavily and the internet was down. Mrs. Anderson came and knocked at my house. I opened the door and her first statement was, "Why are you such a jerk? I pay you for the internet and you need to fix it right away." I stood silently, and for once I thought I should tell her that the internet is down due to rain. But something in me told me to stay silent and observe. She kept on with her babbling and eventually I spoke. I told her she does not need to pay me anymore, and I paused. She had a smile on her face. Then I told her that I will remove her from the internet and she get a new connect and can pay directly to the internet company. I shut the door on her face. However, I did not disconnect the connection. After my interaction with Mrs. Anderson, I thought that Lily will be angry with me. But she never discussed this incident with me, and I was quite surprised. That evening Lily tried to come over and tried to get intimate with me. I was not very comfortable, and I was not very keen on getting down her. So I politely refused, stating I am not well. She left in a very angry mood. That night, I could not sleep and kept pacing around the house. I eventually went out as I wanted some air. I saw that the light to Lily's room was on, and she was arguing with her mother. I tried to listen. I got down on my knees and went near her window. Lily was telling her mother that I refused to sleep with her. Mrs. Anderson was scolding her that she could not bend a man in shame on her. I was shocked. A mother telling her daughter to sleep with a man. I was shocked, and every red flag that could be raised was raised. Next morning, I went to my office, and when I came back home, I found that Mrs. Anderson was with some construction guys and they had removed parts of the fence and extending her lawn by encroaching my lawn. I was angry and asked the guys to stop the work immediately and called 911. I did not speak to Mrs. Anderson and the cops came and stopped the work. I gave the cops the map of the house and the boundaries. Mrs. Anderson was watching everything from inside her home. The cops went inside her house and informed that work has to be stopped and has to be put back as it was. Cops came out and told me that she had some misinformation and will get things fixed. When the cops left, she came out and stood right in front of me and told me that she will fix me. I knew that there is a threat. Now I need to know how big of threat it is. Next morning, I called my office that I would not be available for the next 2 days. And I was granted my leave. The first thing I did was to call my friend Dusty. He works as a bouncer at a local club in the evening, and during the day, he teaches kickbox at a local gym. He came in and I told him what has happened. His immediate reaction was to bulldoze their house and blame it on ignorance. I waited for his all ideas to stop, and then I told him what I had planned. He eventually agreed, and later that very same day he called his buddies who helped install security cameras in and out of my house. Even the lock was changed. I knew what time the mother and daughter were not at home. So everything was done secretly. Then I went ahead and tried to hack into the laptop and Lily's phone. I knew that the laptop was always on. I easily got access as it was connected on the same network. It was illegal, but there were a lot of illegal things that had already been done. What I found was something that was absolutely shocking. Cumless images of Lily with different men, and they were explicit in nature. Was she blackmailing them? Several questions ran through my mind. I then did a quick search for Lily and her mother on the internet using their names. Their social media accounts were just a few months old, matching their arrival dates in the neighborhood. Dusty then asked for a copy of their pictures and gave it to him. He said that he will check with his friends. I don't know all his friends, but they are pretty much in high places for sure. Then at evening when Lily came and met me, she told me that the whole fence thing was a misunderstanding. I nodded and told her that I will be out for a day and will be back next day. She acted like she would miss me and all. I ignored and asked her to leave as I need to pack things. As planned, I took a bag and left in the morning. I went to Dusty's place and waited. Just as I thought, just a few minutes after I left, Lily came to my home and tried to open the lock, and her keys did not work. She left looking very annoyed and returned with her mother. They broke the lock and went in. I saw them taking my TV and my speakers. I knew that it is now time for stage 2 of the plan. I went home and called the cops. While I waited for the cops, Dusty arrived and he had a giant smile on his face. I asked about the smile and he asked to wait. Soon, the cops arrived and I showed them the footage, and soon they were banging on Lily's door. The cops informed that there is a complaint that some items were stolen from the next door and they want to search their home. Mrs. Anderson could see me from her house and came out screaming. She accused me for trying to frame them and called me all sorts of names. She also told the cops that she took the items as I wanted her to take them. The cops then asked if he is asked to take the items, he would have handed them over. Why did you have to break into his home? She denied the allegation, but the cops were not buying into it. Before the cops could arrest them, some black cars rolled in and some guys dressed in black suits walked in and told the cops that this is a federal case and they are wanted in other states as well. They were blackmailing people and extorting money. Dusty then elbowed me and said, "I told you to wait." They, mother and daughter, were cons, and I was their next victim. I informed the feds that their laptop has all the images that they use for blackmailing people. At this moment, Mrs. Anderson screamed at me and even tried to grab a gun from the cop's belt to kill me. She was eventually tasked and handcuffed but kept screaming at me, saying that she will get me and you'll regret every action and you will pay. I ignored her, but asked the cops if threatening me like that can go against her in court. The cop nodded and pressed charges. I was lucky that I did not end up in bed with Lily. I am now scared to date again, and I would rather put my plans to date on hold till I get back to my proper state of mind. Till then, I am better off single. Dear listener, if you have reached this far, please click on the subscribe button. It will be a great help.